Joining us now, first-time guest. Host of Good Morning Football, which is Emmy-nominated. I assume she has already won an Emmy or on her way to win numerous Emmys. Also hosts The People, the television show. She's on Sunday mornings on NFL Network. And this past weekend is the only human that got every single game predicted correctly on the network. Ladies and gentlemen, Kay Adams.
What an intro. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here. And yes, 5 for 5. The pressure is on in the NFC West tonight, Pat.
Who'd you pick tonight?
I picked the Cardinals, but it was definitely like a manifestation, law of attraction choice because the Rams should win. But Stafford pick 6. Kyler hopefully plays the best game of his life, and they win.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You work at the NFL. You're one of the faces of the NFL. We talked about that every morning. Good Morning Football. Hey, you guys crush it over there.
We love it.
You guys crush it over there. We love the show.
You've built up quite a universe for yourself over there, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, our universe is much less professional and good as the Good Morning Football universe. But we watch every morning. We appreciate the show. We love the show. But we do have a couple questions. So whenever you're one of the faces of the NFL, do you get inside information? Is that why you won 5-0? How do you seem to know more than everybody else? She's at every stadium.
Yeah.
She's at every stadium. You're everybody's favorite, it seems like. Where is this information coming from, or have you always just been a football whiz?
I wouldn't say whiz. I think it's just osmosis. I'm so ingrained in it. 3 hours a day, Pat's a long time to be talking about the same stuff. So,
I concur.
I think I have, I wouldn't say insiders. You know, I hit up Ian yesterday like 9 times. Like, what's going on? Is Mike McCarthy playing for his job in the second quarter? Send. And he writes back, no, I think he's safe. So we go back and forth. I have great friends in the league. I sort of go by my gut a lot. I'm a big info girl, not next-gen stats, but basically, as wild as this wild card weekend was, it was kind of easy to make the picks, let's be honest. I didn't pick any upsets, so I'm a low-risk person.
That's all right to go chalk because there's the Niners were the upset. They were, kind of an underdog there, so that's a great pick. But we all thought they were going to win anyways. The fact that they did was kind of alarming actually going in there. You just said in there you hate stats, Kay? Whoa. Kay! You can't hate stats.
No, I love stats because I love fantasy football, but I'm not great at math, to be honest. So you can always just use stats to bolster any argument, both sides, and I'm definitely good at making an argument based on numbers.
Okay, well, I can respect that because stats do play for every team, and hindsight seems to always be the champion. Hindsight's got one of these, but let's talk about tonight's game. You said Matthew Stafford not throwing picks. Then you obviously said Kyler playing the best game of his life. Schrags is best friends. Schrags, good friend of yours, co-host of yours, best friends with McVay. They host a show together. What is the feeling you think out of Los Angeles? If they lose, it's going to be a loud offseason, isn't it? And I think if Arizona loses, it'll be another year of is this team ever going to really go? What do you think are the big takeaways from tonight's game?
Schrags is super interesting because he's also pretty close with Cliff Kingsbury. So it's almost like that scene in The Good Son where the mom's on the cliff holding Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin's hand. And which one am I going to save? Because I was very curious about who he was going to pick in this one. And he went Rams. I would say, McVay's got the number on Cliff Kingsbury. So there's that right away. They've got the firepower. I think if Stafford has a bad game, the Rams can still win, right? They've got the defensive stars. You can rely on their run game. Cooper Kupp's going to crush it as always, Mr. Triple Crown. With the Cardinals side, it's all on Kyler. It's all on his back. And you have James Conner, who has a heel injury that's lingering, and we think he's going to play. I think one of the craziest storylines, what is this, overrated takes Monday?
Overrated. Whoa, what is this? She hates stats.
Get it right.
Overrated take. Come on, Jay. Overreaction Monday. Okay.
Overreaction Monday is that James Conner doesn't get enough love, and he's one of the best running backs in the game. 18 touchdowns in 15 games is absolutely crazy. He's been the only stable force in this entire team. And if he doesn't look good early, my eyes are going right to James Conner today. What's he going to look like? And then the old guys, Zach Ertz, AJ Green balled out the last time they faced the Rams. So I'm hoping he can do it. I think the Cardinals win because Kyler is going to just put it on his back and make it happen.
And I can't wait to see Kyler in the big moment. He seems like a guy who always rises to the occasion. Last year, they were so inconsistent. And this year, they had their wins, then they lose J.J. Watt, who's all the way back, and he'll probably have, 4 or 5 sacks tonight? 4 or 5, 7, maybe 6, 7.
Yeah.
He might catch a touchdown tonight, actually.
Absolutely.
He might be playing tight end, not 100% sure. Excited for it. You said you're a fantasy person. Is that how you got into the coverage of the NFL? Was fantasy the door? Yeah?
You guys are on SiriusXM. I launched the SiriusXM Fantasy Sports channel with Steve Cohen over at SiriusXM Sports back in 2011. I was living in St. Louis, and I had a little ISDN box and a headset, and I would be talking to, fantasy stats and taking calls at all times of the night. I worked from like midnight to 6 a.m. in that New York office in Manhattan, so that's how I got my start. Yeah, fantasy sports. Always liked it, always played it. Competitive as hell, and it kind of worked out. It's cool.
Did you go to school for journalism, broadcasting, or did you kind of just fall into a passion of fantasy football and being smarter?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, and then I went to the University of Missouri, where I started off in the journalism school, and quickly was like, this isn't for me. So I ended up switching to communications, but always knew I wanted to do something in media. Sports sort of pulled me along, which is really great.
And then the NFL Network hears you at 5:30 a.m. hammering it out on SiriusXM Fantasy and says, we need you to host Good Morning Football. That's going to be on every single morning in every NFL building. And we're going to expect happiness, upbeat, and creative content every single day.
Every single day. I came here by way of NBC Sports, but that's exactly how it happened, Pat. There was a producer over at NBC that produced shows like with Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. When NBC Sports, remember when it launched as this big thing, it's going to be its own channel. And he listened to the radio show and said, yeah, we should definitely have you come up here. And I would do like news reports about hockey, which I don't like hockey. I don't subscribe to hockey at all. Okay. And I would just do, you just have to say yes. And then I'd go and I'd knock on every door of Roto World and say, hire me, let me do something for you.
Well, overrated take Monday, and hockey stinks and stats are
I
bad.
didn't say stinks. I said I don't have room in my heart for it.
Oh, I understand. Me neither. Wait till the playoffs. Yeah, wait till the playoffs. The playoffs are absolutely great. Now you guys are in the middle of finding a replacement for Nate Burleson, who's working on Nickelodeon, CBS, and doing real life news. The day he left Good Morning Football, I think the next morning he actually had to say, "Hi, I'm Nate Burleson," and the terrorists in Afghanistan are playing bumper cars with American tanks. I will send you now to Jack in the field in Baghdad or something. Yeah. That was actually what he was doing. It was like, God damn, that was quite a change overnight for him. Now you guys are searching for the full-time replacement, or is it always going to be on the move?
It's a good question. Nate is Deebo Samuel. Like he can do it all. I don't know if you got to hear him on the Nickelodeon broadcast yesterday, but my nieces, my nephews were all, texting me and my brother and sister, and he's just so good at so many things. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's able to make that switch. He's the best co-host in the world, and I miss him every day. Right now we're rotating. I think it happened so quickly and so quick, like fast before the season that they're looking. I mean, my contract is up in May, so I don't know how, we have to work that out and figure it out. Yeah, so the future, it's all super exciting.
Whoa,
wow.
Kay. Free agent. That's a little bit of a leverage play right there, Kay. Yeah. Hey, congrats to you.
It's exciting. I don't know what none of us know what the future
is. Hey, this is big deal. Congrats to you, Kay.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. Free agency is a big deal. Especially whenever you're on the show that every football person watches basically every single morning and is up for Emmys and awards. It must get exhausting just being so great at your job. Yeah. The free agency coming, you're going to get broken
off. Get that bag,
Carpe diem, Kay. Let's go.
I've actually never said that. I think that's breaking news right here. It's over. No, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I obviously love my job. It is the coolest thing to get to talk about football for 3 hours, as you know. So it's a lot of fun. Hey, I have a bone to pick with you. Can I do that right now?
I mean, your show, dude. Do whatever you got to do.
You've ruined interviewing Aaron Rodgers. Do you know that?
I feel on the other side.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like it's been good. As interviewing because I don't really interview. I just sit there and have a conversation,
Correct. So then I'm told you get to sit down with Aaron Rodgers for 7 to 10 minutes, and I go, oh, okay, great. This happened last week, and I sit down and I'm like, what questions do I want to ask him? And it's impossible to even come up with anything to ask him because he just comes on your show and he has these hour sessions of just stream of consciousness, and there is literally nothing that he has not gone over with you. And so you've ruined the experience of networks interviewing Aaron. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm winning awards. I would like to thank all the boys here. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Really setting the mood.
Thank you, Pat.
I'd like to thank AJ, whose tech doesn't work today. Son of a bitch couldn't figure out a microphone. That's tough for him. And obviously, we'd like to thank Aaron for taking Tuesdays 50, 55 minutes, 45 minutes. After years and years and not talking to anybody about anything because everybody just buried him publicly, basically, coming on the show and bearing his soul. We appreciate that. No, Kay, your angle conversation with him much different than ours. You still bring out gems and greatness, just like on Good Morning Football. You guys get great stuff out of basically every single guest that comes on the show. Erin Andrews came after us a little bit ago, too. When Erin came on, she goes, I know you talk to Erin every day or whatever. I'm like, whoa. Are we really throwing a little bit?
No, I love it.
Nah.
Sure.
I love it, but you've ruined it. You have 3 questions for Aaron, and you're like, well, Pat asked, I already know the answers to the questions. He's never been an open book, but you really let us get to know his character, who he is as a human, his kindness, his vulnerability. It's transcendental. I'm not that seriously. It's awesome, but it's very difficult to come up with new material.
Well, you're smart.
For him.
You are incredibly talented and smart enough. You figure it out and do great with that whole thing. Even though we do get 45 minutes of his brain kind of spilling out there. Let's pivot to that though, because you guys get to talk to a lot of really cool people, and you host People, which is out in the celebrity world, right?
Yes.
Anybody you talk to that you were just blown away by? Like anybody come right to your mind where whether it's the NFL or in the People, you talk to them like, oh, that feels like a real human as opposed to maybe asshole that I thought it could have potentially went.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers for sure. That interview will be on Sunday on NFL Network.
Hey, we can't wait to watch. Hey, that's going to be awesome. We'll watch that going into Tuesday. If there's anything left.
Perfect.
The reason I took the People job, because I'm not that obsessed with the celebrity world, Pat, but on Good Morning Football, when we interview, we each, you ask a question. And you each ask your question, and then it's over. So you know what it's like to have rapport and do what you do every day. So I wanted to hone in on my interview skills because I really don't get that opportunity to. So I get to do it every day. I would say, George Clooney, Alicia Keys is probably one of the realest people that I've ever met. But you interview everyone. Celebrities are so different because they're so much more open. And anyone in music, actors less than musicians, but any musical act is any artist is a lot more fun to talk to, and they're all open and vulnerable, and they're pushing something. They know the game. I feel like in the NFL, you go through that media training, and it's a different challenge. So it's a little bit refreshing to go to the celebrity side, and they're like, "I'll tell you about what I did last night," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
You're a free agent in May. Are you going into the celebrity world? Are you going to stay in sports? Is the NFL and
Oh yeah, I want the big jobs. I want to go right to the top of the NFL. Are you kidding?
What do we want? You want kickoff show host, or you like commentate?
Yeah, I would love you've built such a you've changed the game, so there's that option, right? Like you went and did it yourself.
Oh, let's go. Okay, you're doing your own thing?
It's no secret. The goal is to have the pedigree, to have the big boy seat at the table. Sure, absolutely, on those big platforms, those meaningful games. I love visiting stadiums. I love it. I'm energized by it, juiced every time I go. I think I get to go to Tampa this weekend, so I'm excited. But I like being part of the game day experience as much as I love. And I also love being on in the morning. We get to set the tone for the day, set the agenda. The fact that you even turn us on and try to see what we're saying. We try to guess what's going to be the topic of the day. We're the first ones that get a crack at it. It's a big deal.
So you want to be... What is that? Sunday Night Football? Who was on the field?
Commissioner, maybe.
Commissioner of the NFL. Yeah. What is the dream job? Yeah, we're trying to figure it out because you want to have one of the mainstays. Monday Night Football is live at whatever stadium it is, right?
Yep.
Sunday Night Football is live at one of those. You're talking about one of those.
there's just there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. Look at what's going on with sports books and how's that going to evolve. It's a really energizing time right now. That's all I'll say.
And Amazon is getting in. Amazon's getting in the game, Kay.
I work with Chris Long and Andrew Hawkins at Amazon, and we just had our last show yesterday, and I was super sad about it. It was called NFL Next, a little half hour. I like the idea of, the streaming, the looser vibe. I know that's something that you really wanted to do, and you didn't find it, and you did your own thing.
Yeah, well, hey, we're pulling for it. I think you'll be able to crush whatever. Go ahead, Ty.
Kay, you've basically become the de facto queen of Cincinnati throughout this season. When you look at the Bills and the Chiefs and how explosive they've looked over the last few weeks, do you think the Bengals have gone from just an exciting team that's really fun to watch to someone who could really actually push those two teams in the AFC and potentially get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, today on the show, the guys were saying that the AFC Super Bowl is between the Bills and the Chiefs. And if I'm a Titans fan and I'm a Bengals fan, I'm like, whatever.
Whatevs, dude.
We can do this either. But I mean, everyone sleeps on the Titans. They're the least talked about team in the NFL for some reason.
That's your fault.
Weird.
Hey, that's the NFL's fault. Dan Zeus.
You think?
Yeah,
Dan Zeus. Dan
Zeus'
Hanzus, the representative.
Oh yeah, Dan.
Yeah.
I'll give him hell next time he's on our show later this week. But I mean, Derrick Henry coming back, they're going to play for Vrabel. I'm going to say the it's Joe Burrow. I put him right up there with Allen and Mahomes when it comes to I don't shake. I'm not going to flinch. He doesn't care. He is completely unrattleable, if that's a word.
Oh.
And I love that about him. I think that sort of trickles down to the whole offense. My big worry, I think they've got the offensive firepower, sure, to take on those teams. What happened to their D-line is a drag beyond drags. To deal with Derrick Henry, Trey Hendrickson, back with the Saints, I was like, hey, Sean Payton and company, you guys sure you don't want to give this guy some money and let him stay here? And they didn't. They let him go to the Bengals, and he had a 10-game sack streak. He's incredible, an absolute game breaker. And if he's hurt, we had Mike Daniels leave the game. I don't think he's coming back. Ogunjobi, it's just that D-line up against Henry could not be a worse situation. So hopefully they can heal up through the week, because that's my big worry.
How do you balance having inside information and then also having to be live for 3 hours every single morning? Like you just said, hey, Sean Payton, don't you think you guys want Trey Hendrickson? And we know that you have a pretty good source at the Saints. I think there has been some times where, okay, Adams is saying this about the Saints, so that means, hey, probably. Gospel. You have to kind of pick and choose. And now with, how much your show has dominated the NFL, I assume you have a lot of friends in a lot of buildings. How do you pick and choose, and how do you figure that out? You just kind of got to compartmentalize that, or have you ever gotten to a point where, you've said something you weren't supposed to say?
It's kind of a game, I guess. I'm not an insider, though, so I don't want to put that out there. I know, when I say, hey, I just say it through the show. I'll get on the air and I'll say it. I'm not calling Mickey Loomis. And
hey, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet if you did, though. Hey, Mickey, we're thinking.
Gail Benson, we gotta talk about. No, that's not what happens. I guess I could. I don't know. I just enjoy the game. So I call it like I see it. I like to give. My thing that I always go for the underdog. It's why I like the Bengals. That's why I like the Titans right now, because no one's talking about them. I always like the teams that people just don't want to give love. Mike Evans is someone I love. Look what he did yesterday. He crushed it. What does he do? He has 1,000-yard seasons. He's the most consistent wide receiver in the game, and we just don't even talk about him. So those are the kind of players and people I think that I gravitate towards.
And he also took a less salary to sign other people. Mm-hmm. He hit for our same game parlay. Scotty Miller couldn't catch another fucking ball, dude. Mm-hmm. Just one more, Kay. Just one more. That would have been amazing for all the fantasy teams everywhere that had Scotty Miller. Right. Fantasy's over. Fantasy's completely over now.
No, you can still play. You can play over on FanDuel. Absolutely. You can do anything you want to do. Hey!
Free agent May.
Yes,
Free agent May. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Kay, you're from Chicago. Do you lean to the Bears at all, or do you think they'll probably fucking stink forever?
Come on.
It's so hard. People were bothering me about this on Twitter today. I will always love the Bears. But it's like being in a relationship. You need some space, and you just say, grow up. Get your stuff together. And, maybe we'll talk and we'll get back together in the future. At a certain point, you need to just figure it out. And I'm excited for their future, and I think them getting rid of Pace and walking away from Nagy is great. But now you're going to have a new guy go in there, and then it's Justin Fields wasn't drafted by that guy and wasn't coached by that coach or chosen. So what's the future? I will say, like, I'm from there, and you'd think that they'd want to, include me more.
They kick you
and
off.
Or just, but I've never even been invited to a game.
Oh, what's going on in Chicago, dude? Bro, she was lighting the torch at the Bengals game.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days ago. She's banging the drum in Kansas City.
What's Virginia doing?
Nagy says keep her out of the building.
They don't. It's so interesting that it's my hometown, and they, if you need help or support, just ask, and they just don't. It's interesting.
That's hilarious. I'm tired of wasting my energy on you not being able to figure out what the fuck you're supposed to do with your life. So everybody else is inviting me to do stuff. They seem to be a lot more fun and successful. I will always care for you, but I got to move on as well for the good of me. That's a lot. That's a lot of fans, by the way. I think, especially in this time. Go ahead, Tone.
Okay, not so much a question, more of a statement. When the boys head outside and play around on the street, I just don't think that they involve you enough, and I think that you should bring up.
Oh, the Wall Streeters.
Yeah.
I've never asked to go. I've been asked to go, not for that segment. That's definitely a them production. I don't see the point in the cold in the middle of Manhattan of going downstairs and playing in traffic. I like to make my coffee. I like to maybe make a smoothie during that time. I like to maybe eat a cookie, and they go down there, and I get some. It's nice and quiet when they leave, so those moments are very enjoyable.
A little zen in the morning.
But thank you for caring about me like that. I really appreciate that.
Hey, Tone, you're a good guy, Tone.
Good guy, Tony.
Hey, Tone, you're a good guy.
Thank you, Tony. Steelers fans, man.
Attaboy, Tone. Tone was just thinking to himself, free agency coming up in May, maybe a different side here, maybe get her out in the streets
I
there.
just know if she was from Pittsburgh, that organization would have invited her to a game.
Yeah, well, Tone's trying to bring you over to the Steelers fan base. They are dead. They got killed. Ooh, They got absolutely killed. Who wins the Super Bowl here, Kay? Who do you think?
In August, I picked Packers-Browns.
Yikes. Hey,
Browns might be dead. Packers-Chiefs, I believe. Mahomes looked like 2019 playoff Mahomes. So I'll go Packers-Chiefs. Packers win. Packers are just getting healthy at the right time. So I hope they win. Niners, tough draw for them, of course.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and put that down in the record book. So you predicted the Packers to win the Super Bowl. She's a free agent in May. Hey, everybody get the Brinks trucks out for the Emmy-nominated dominant host of Good Morning Football and People. Ladies and gentlemen, fantasy expert, Kay Adams. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. You're awesome. How about the Bears saying fuck off, dude?
Pretty messed up.
Crazy.
Bears. What's Virginia
That
doing?
is classic Bears.
Horrible.
What's it all about, dude? You got head coaches telling Mitch he's an idiot. Your guys are buying, property outside of Chicago.
Uh-oh.
I mean, what's going on over there?
It ain't good. I'll tell you that. It ain't good.
I did not know Kay was a Chicago Bears fan because literally
because
there's clips of her at Cincinnati being like in Kansas City and everywhere. New Orleans, not Chicago. Hour 3's on the other side. We'll see you then. Nailed it. I mean, fucking nailed it for the radio.
Smashed it.
I mean, right in the middle of still getting our point across
Boom, on the screws.
about all that. Thanks to Kay for joining us. That was the first time on the show.
Yeah.
She's great. It's awesome.
She works not as hard as Boomer.
No.
Nobody.
By the way, Boomer's on TV Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Whoa.
3-4 lines in between each game.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, he's killing it, man.
Crushing
Oh, yeah.
No word wasted. Boomer Esiason.
It's okay.
It's working way harder than AJ Hawk today, I tell you that much.
Hey, they told me Boomer doesn't even have a stat department at CBS. He's doing all his own stuff. What? Doesn't have a producer over there. He's producing himself.
Research and development?
Doesn't have anybody that does his suits or anything. He does that all himself. Yeah.
Wow.
Boomer's working harder than all of us. But Kay, right there.
Yeah.
Good Morning Football is every single morning on NFL Network. And then on Sunday morning, she's with the NFL Network kickoff show. Then she's normally traveling to some game. She's on the road a lot out there.
Yeah.